Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be taking a look at all the pictures that I've colored in March 2024. The books that you are seeing are just a few of the stack that I attacked last month. So without further ado, we are going to jump right in. I'm going to pause the video for a bit so that I can clean the space and we can start from zero. So I will see you back in just 1 second. Okay, here we are back again, and for this video I will be starting with two pictures that I dislike the most, that I'm not super fond of, and all the other ones are just in a random order, not by date or something, because I can't remember which one I did before another. But there are two in all the pictures that I've colored in that I'm not super fond of. And the first one is in The Witch Cottage by Hannah Carlson. And it's all in the back. And it's this one. I've used paints for the background. I do like my background, but I also painted the bottle and I did some glossy accents on it with Mod Podge just on top of the paint, and it's a nice result, but it's not beautiful, and I don't like the gold accents that I did either. I do like the butterflies. They are done with Pentel Hybrid gel pens, so they look quite dark if you take a look at them like this, but they are turning more into red if you flip your book over into the light. Yeah, not spectacular one, this one, but yeah, it was an experiment. I just wanted to play around with paint for the background, and I'm happy that that worked out quite okay. I had a lot of fun doing so, but all the rest is a bit not especially my cup of tea or what I'm fond of. So, but well, it's done, and that's the first one. I'm going to put it on the ground because otherwise it will fall over. The second one I'm not too fond about is in Portraits, Disney coloring book. In February I've colored this one and I was super happy with how she turned out. But this one is another story. I do like the character of the movie. I thought she was super funny to do, and I wanted to play around with the light of the candles. I've used a huge amount of Prismacolor pencils for her, and on top of markers, but I had some, I don't know if it is visible, but I have a lot of wax bloom. So yeah, that's not super beautiful. Don't like how much paint that I did for her earrings, although she is wearing some bling bling jewelry. But no, I don't know. Just not super fond of how it turned out. I do like my snake, but everything else is just, yeah, nah. I also didn't know what to do with the background, so I left it just as it is. Did use a lot of gold paints and glitter gel pens, and some Mod Podge on the snake, some golden ink for splattering. I do like, and maybe it's a bit visible here, I did base with Distress inks, and I went on top with an gelato, a pinkish one, so it has a bit of an effect if you are turning your page around, and I do like it. That I do like, but yeah, other than that, the end result, nah, not a big fan of. So that was this one. And then we are hopping over to Klara Markova, the newest coloring book. I did a buddy color with my friend Amanda. I will leave a link to her channel down below. And we decided to work on this page. If you have Instagram, you can check out our pages. Amanda did a post about them. I thought it was a bit silly because both of our pages were visible and a lot of people already commented on her post, so I thought it was a bit silly that I would repost it again. But she also had such a beautiful picture colored. It was very fun. We had a lot of talks about the pencils we were using and how uncertain we were coloring in. She had a bit of trouble, not really trouble, but she doesn't like very small details, and she's perfect with coloring in flowers, and I'm always so insecure, not sure which colors to use for flowers. And I was happy that it turned out. I didn't have a plan for my flowers, but I'm glad how they turned out, I must say how it is. So yeah, I've used quite some glitter gel pen and stickles and gold ink. I hope it's all quite visible. Even in the little cups here and here, and on the cake there are some dots with a glitter gel pen. I do hope it's all a bit visible. I'm sorry, but I can't film it in any other way. Also my egg has a bit of stickles, a bit of glitter gel pen, but it's covered within or with the stickles, as you can see, hopefully. So yeah, it took quite some time because I had a bit of trouble choosing the right colored pencils for it. I think in the end I've used the luminance pencils the most, I think, and a few color softs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but in the end I really liked the end result, and it was super fun to do a buddy color with Amanda. And we will definitely be doing something new again in the future, I think. So we still talk a lot, almost every day, I think. So yeah, it's really nice to exchange ideas and experiences. So that was this one. And then we are going to take a look at the spring cleanup in a Disney Princess coloring book, a cheap one from Amazon. So it's not the most fantastic paper. As you can see, I have some bleed through because I've used glossy accents, and it's also crinkly, but that's okay. But I decided to do some cleaning dwarfs. I did use a different range of pencils for each and one of them. He's done, most of him is done with the Brutfuner pencils. I rediscovered them and they work fantastic on this page. He was done with Colorsoft, if I'm not mistaken, and he was done, I think, with Holbein pencils. The floor was I think Supracolors or Albrecht Dürer pencils with some shading on top. I find coloring in a wood floor very difficult. So, and this is, I think it's just a fireplace, so I decided to give it a glass window. My little soap and dust things have some sparkle. Oh, it's not picking up. It's like a Spectrum Noir or a wink of Stella that I've put on top of this one and on the dust clouds, but it's not picking up. I'm sorry. The border is just black acrylic paint with golden Mod Podge, or silver Mod Podge on top of it. I did watch a video about someone who was really into Mod Podge, and I only had super glitter with different colors in it, and I've bought myself the silver and the golden one as well. So, and as you can see, hopefully, I did draw some extra spider webs here on the pots. I'm so sorry that I have to lift my book up like it is, but it's because of my tripod. It's not professional, but I'm really sorry. I don't have another way to film these pages, so yeah, you have to take it how I show it. So very pleased with how this one turned out, especially since it's thin paper, really thin paper, and as you can see, the drawings are cut off, so that was also the case with this one. That's why I decided to make a black border, and yeah, so that was this one. Now we are going for a Hannah Lynn one in the Mythical Maidens and Curious Creatures coloring book, and I've tagged my page, and I did this one, this dragon flying lady. I like it, but I'm not a super fan of it. Don't know if my dragon is like I wanted him or her to be. I don't like the golden details that I did on it, and as you can see, the border is gold Mod Podge. I do like how my girl turned out though. She has some stickles in her hair, some stickles on her eyes. I gave her an earring. I did give her a nose, not a ring, but she has a piercing. I thought that was cool. She has some freckles. The dragons in the back are dual hybrid gel pen ones. Yeah, it's an okay page, and the background is Distress Oxide inks. As you can see, I've placed her out with some water, and yeah. So this one is okay. It has a marker base, I think, for the most part, yes. And then I went on top with pencils. Can't remember which ones, but yeah, that was this one. And then we are going into the Seasons coloring book, and I did this page. At first I did my background with Distress inks, but it turned out awful, so I decided to paint it in black and put some white gesso, or white, not gesso, gouache I think I've used on top with some, with a fan brush. It's a paintbrush with, yeah, a special shape. I think Bob Ross also used it for painting some of his trees, and I've used it for the white in the background. And then for the rose itself, I've used Supracolors or Albrecht Dürer pencils and didn't do any shading on top. I just lined out everything with Posca pen or Artistro pencils for the green and for the brown, and then I splattered some red paint, Kuretake Genzai Tambi paint, for making it a bit creepy. I did paint away the thorns of the rose and of the stem here, but I thought it was a nice addition. It could have been a Halloween picture. But yeah, it's a simple page. It was done quite quickly, but I do like it. I like how poppy my rose turned out in the end. So yeah. And then we are going towards the Grains of Gold coloring book. Last year I did my Mr. and this year I did the Mrs. So that's how she turned out. I did use some inks for the background. I've splattered around some gold ink. I've painted with gold paint. I've used a lot of metal dual hybrid gel pen for the purple parts here. I've used glossy accents on her lips. I've used the paint for the background. Yeah. I like how my pearls turned out. They have glossy accents on them as well. So yeah. She was nice to work on, and I like how her hair turned out. I thought it was nice to go for an, not for a brown, a blonde or a black haired girl, but a bit fantasy-like, and yeah, I really like her. And I like how the color of her eyes, her lips and the pearls are all the same. I think it's Prismacolor pencils. So yes, they do match quite nicely, although he's a bit pale. Maybe he's just shook up by looking at her, but it's always nice to see a double page next to each other, even if they're done with a year difference. So that was this one. Then we are going to the Beauties and Beasties by Camilla Derrico, and I've done this one. Oops. I'm going to lift it up, and as you can see, my background is quite spectacular. It's done with White Night paints, regular ones, and I've put on some salt. My page was super wet. I've added a lot of salt, and this is the result. So I really like it. It's the first time that I've accomplished this effect with salt. I tried it many times already, but it never worked out, and now it did. So I'm super glad. Now the girl itself, she is colored with luminance pencils. As you can see, I did some details with stickles on her face, and of course on her body. I was uninspired to think of something special for her back body, and yeah, that's how it turned out in the end. Maybe it's a bit too simple, but yeah, oh well. I do hope you like it. I really like the background, and I think the other side, there's almost nothing going on. I just had some smudge here, but the paper was super wet and nothing, there's almost no buckling, so it's a very decent paper. Really high quality. Because really there was a lot of water going on here. So yeah, if you look at, oh, sorry, I was bumping my tripod again. So if you look like it, it's really that effect on the background. I really like it. So that was this one. Then we have the newest book by Apol. And I've also played around with paints in this one. And it's this picture. I've done the background with paints. I was a bit disappointed of the how do you say it? There's red here, there's red here, there. It's always the same. It's not playful enough for my taste, but in the end, okay, she did it as well a bit with her darker corners here, but yeah, maybe I had preferred that I had spread around my colors a bit more, but yeah, well. The rest of the picture is also done with paints. The berry is the plant here, or the tree. I've used some clear, oh, I forgot the name of they're super well-known glitter gel pens, jelly rolls, clear jelly. And for the girl, the squirrel here, and the dog, I've used Erogitan pencils. They are hard cord. You can have a very fine tip, and for tiny details or tiny objects, it's perfect. So I really had a lot of fun using them on this page. I didn't have a lot of work coloring in, but I really like how they worked on this paper. And I did put on some salt as well on this page, but it didn't work out as nicely. You can see it a bit here and here. It didn't work out like it did on my spider page. But nevertheless, it gave a bit of an effect. So that was this book. Now, another April book. The Forest Girl. No, it's always called the Forest Girl coloring book. I'm not sure how this one is called though. This one has a story. I've colored in this page, although it's mostly paint. I've bought myself the granulating white night paints, and I've used them to do the plants. As you can see, I have some color shifts and some stains. I really like staining when painting. The stems are also paint. The background is graphited pencils. So the only object that I've colored, or subject, is the girl in the chair. Now, as you can see, there's some glitter going on, and that's because I did color her in with brownish hair, but the other picture was with a black-haired girl, and she had some highlights in her hair, and I didn't have highlights. So I thought, oh well, I will add some highlights, but it turned out awful, and then I decided to paint her hair black. Well, that turned out even more awful. I decided to blow that paint dry, and I did have a stain from the blowing of the hairdryer. I've covered it up with white gouache, so it's quite gone. And then when dipping away the paint, I discovered I could remove the paint and make my brownish hair visible again. But of course, as you can see, all this black here was the paint of her hair. So I thought, oh no, I've messed up my picture. I super like my plants, and I've messed up my girl. But then I was thinking, she's looking sad, so maybe that is coming for her. I know it's a bit creepy as a story, but I thought, well, maybe it's just that coming, and to not make it too dark, I decided to put on some silver Mod Podge. So she's slowly taken to the afterlife. I'm sorry if it's creeping you out, but that's the story that I have in my head to explain why this picture looks so smudged. So because I didn't want to give it up, I really wanted to save it, and with this story I think I could. So in the end I'm really fond of how it turned out. I like the paints. Yeah, I like working with them. So yeah, I hope you don't find it too creepy and that you can accept my story behind all the glitter that is going on. I talked with Amanda about it, and she said it was a happy accident and that I did a Bob Ross intervention, and maybe I did. So that was this one. And then we have the Fairy Tales coloring book by Emily Liedehouw Holberg, and I did a snowy page. I've colored in the bunny, and I decided to make it a girl. Because yeah, I had some new paints, Kuretake Gansai Tambi, with some pastel colors, and I really wanted to use them, and so I've used them on the scarf here because of all the details that were visible. You can still see them very slightly here, but yeah, I wanted to use them, and it got some glitter too, so the bunny had to be her, so I gave her some lipstick and some long lashes. I decided to do the berries not in a dark color, but in a light pastel-y color. I think I've used the Holbein pencils for that purpose. I've used some Mod Podge on the snowflakes and on some of the berries here and there, as you can see, hopefully. I will shift my book like this also, so you can have a look at the shimmer and the shine. And I did use the Supra colors or the Albrecht Dürer. I never remember, it's watercolor pencils for the bunny. And the background is gelatos, so very, very soft colored. And yeah, I think it turned out quite nice. So that was this one. And then I went to Ticket to Dreams again after my hard work last month on this page. Awful lot of work. And with having the White Knights, I wanted to try them on the background to see what they did. And they did quite okay, but they didn't do what I wanted them to do, namely give me a lot of color. They did some shifting, but not spectacular. So I've put on some white gouache for splattering. What did I use for the fox? I think the Durban drawing pencils. I'm not super fond of how it turned out, but I like that the castle has a special color. Then I went for some poppy colors. I've used some dual metallic gel pens for the details. So yeah, it's an okay page, but yeah. The following picture you will see better what the granulating paints can do, beside of painting some plants with them. This book is falling apart. I don't like ring-bound books anymore. They come apart in my cupboard, and yeah, it's a bit annoying. So I've tackled my new book by Karolina Kubikowska with the White Knight paints, and this is just one color. The background is done with one color, and as you can see, I have blue, I have some pink around the blue, I have some purple, I have some browns, I have a whole lot of things going on. So these are the one granulating paint with water, a lot of water, and yeah, that's the result that you can get, and I was really fond of it. And then for the girl, I decided not to go for a turquoise peacock. I went for a pinkish one with some yellowish greenish details. Yeah, I like how it turned out. I'm not 100% a super fan, but yeah, it's okay. I like how my girl turned out with her black hair. It's all done in luminous pencils, I believe. And of course, I have used some glitter on my bird in the sky here, and of course for her pearls. So yeah, this book is worked in as well, and the paper it's crackling, but it did take the paint quite well. So that was this one, and now we're coming for the last picture that I've colored, and it's not, I forgot a book. After showing this one, I still have to, how stupid, I forgot one. I thought it was the last picture that I've colored, but it's not the case. It's the one before the last one, and it's in, I don't know the English name of this book, by Maria Trulla, and I'm very fond of this one. I did this in 2018, and now I did this one, so it's so nice to see them next to each other. I've used Albrecht Dürer pencils for everything, and did I do a bit of shading? No, I don't think I did some shading. I only used a white pencil to make my bird's head pop a little bit more, and of course around the pink plants, or leaves I should say. I didn't do anything else for coloring in. I just decided to do an outline with white Posca. I've used some paints for the ribbon here, a Paul Rubens paint. Oh no, was it Paul Rubens? No, it's a Chinese brand, but it's comparable to Paul Rubens. The background is the golden Mod Podge. It gives some stains on black paper, but yeah, if you can look next to it, it gives a lovely shine and a lovely detail. And so yeah, it was a quick picture to work on, but it was super nice, and I love the effect that it gave me. It could have been more poppy with the white, but yeah, it's okay. And now I'm going to grab my last book. I will be back in just 1 second. Okay, here we are again. I totally forgot my Petite Poupée, Little Dolls coloring book. It's Disney figures, but in puppet form or mini childish form. And I decided to do Pocahontas, and that's how she turned out. I'm really fond of this picture. At first I thought I messed up my background. I've used the granulating paints again in different colors with that Fane brush, that special shaped brush again for giving all these strokes. I've splattered some white gouache on top when still wet, and some parts were already dry, so that gives it a mixture of dry drops and some fluid ones. I've used some Mod Podge here on some of the clock work or compass work. I've used some stickles here on the border. And for her, I've colored her in with Pablo pencils. I love these pencils. I know there are a lot of people that don't like them, but I love them. They worked fantastic on this paper. Her dress is with an Italian brand, A Gallo it's called. I did win this set years ago on Instagram, and I really like the paints, and it gave me the perfect color for her dress. I did a little bit of shading with pencil, but other than that it's just paint. Of course, she has a stickly necklace, glossy lips and glossy eyes. But I think, yeah, I really like how this one turned out. It's an unconventional background, but I love it because I totally didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't want to color in all the compass parts, so I think it's nicer looking in this way for my feeling. If in my it would have been super tiring to color all of the compass things, so I prefer using paints for the background in that way. And with Pocahontas, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm almost 40 minutes in filming. I really hope you've liked what you have seen, and I wish you all the best. Have a lovely Easter weekend, and I will see you soon in a new video. Thank you for watching, everyone. Bye.